It seems like Asmongold was not done making the worst takes on the planet. And he went out and said some heinous stuff and done pissed off the entire world. And I'm not really surprised after I heard what he said. And look, I got to be completely honest. You have to understand the perspective. When you see someone saying certain things about somebody or an entire race of people, and then you look into their own lives on how they live, it's kind of the weirdest thing you'll ever see. It's like, I can't believe this guy's saying this. It's like a gorilla being angry at another gorilla for being even more of a gorilla. It makes no damn sense. It's ass backwards. And luckily, he apologized immediately, which I'm not surprised. And it's funny because Asmongold's #1 rule is to never apologize. Well, apparently, the death threats came. I bet there were some really bad threats. There was probably people sending him pictures of houses and shit. I'm on my way, boy. Look, you don't mess with these people, right? So at any rate, here's what's going down, okay? And before I show you this, make sure you like this video. It's very important to all us poor YouTubers out here just trying to make a way in lives. But let me give you some context real quick. And look, I've talked about Asmongold in the past. I don't dislike the guy, nor do I like the guy, but I do like to point out that he lives in squalor, and that's my favorite thing about him. So check this out. When you hear someone like Asmongold shitting on people in any way, shape, or form, you always got to pull up images of his room and how there's stains everywhere and how he has 1,000 McDonald's cups on his desk. I mean, this dude is absolutely like, he's like 13-year-old me, except I wasn't nearly this bad. I'm very surprised he doesn't have a My Little Pony cum jar. If you know what that is, don't Google it, please. So as you can see, I mean, this dude looks like he's living in a third world. He even got the roach on him. He's got his own family of roaches. He has named each of them different things. He has very, very strange attachments to his roaches. Here's what this goofy bastard said. You ready for this? All right, here we go.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing.
You know what's crazy? You know what's the craziest part about this? Is he saying they're terrible people. Keep in mind, he's generalizing every single person there, right? There's a lot of people just trying to live their lives, right? That's like saying, you know, a Western nation, oh, well, they're all Christian and terrible people, if you thought that way about Christians. But a lot of people are just trying to survive. Actually, a large percentage of people, probably up somewhere in the 90 percentile, are just trying to live their lives and honestly just trying to survive. So I don't necessarily agree that they'd be terrible people on the surface. Are there extreme units? Of course there are.
And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them. If you want to consider a
yeah, so a lot of people are going to say based, and I kind of understand. Like, I'm good at perspective taking, I feel like, and I can understand kind of what he's saying generally when it comes to extreme groups, but to cast that on an entire group of people, like every single person in the population, right? I don't necessarily agree. And also calling them inferior, you know, I would almost think that if you could kind of use that logic for any culture that's not Western culture. It's all inferior to Western culture. And I don't believe that either. Different, maybe. Yes, I don't know about worse. Southern Western culture is probably worse than all other culture. I grew up in it. Trailer park culture, definitely worse than every other culture. Okay. It's very similar to the Middle East when you live in the trailer park. I'm just going to put that out there. Except it's drunk. Everybody's just drunk and beating their children, which is what I lived through. It's not a big deal. It's fine. But Asmongold immediately. And look, I know a lot of people probably align roughly with that opinion without being as extreme about it or as open about it. So Asmongold, after a lot of backlash, which we'll get into, apologized. He said, looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad, my B. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid shit like that. I'll do better. And someone responded and said, you just violated your golden rule of never apologizing. It would be interesting to hear why you made an exception on your next YouTube video. So we're going all out here. He said, I don't mind apologizing if it's something I think I'm actually wrong about. Given the amount of times I've gotten hate for things and never apologized, should be proof of that. There has to be something more to this, in my opinion, though, right? Because, I mean, if it's things that I'm wrong about, has he only ever been wrong once? That's kind of what I'm thinking here. It says right here, this was a post from 2023 where he said, weird as fuck to see so many people coming out with statements about the Israel-Palestine conflict as if they need to comment on it. Can we please stop this weird culture around expecting people with no relevant background or education to talk about world events? Man, he is just grabbing the L's and putting them in his bag as fast as possible. So now people are calling for Asmongold's ban on Twitch, citing the TOS, saying create speech, imagery, or emote combinations that dehumanize or perpetuate negative stereotypes and or memes, black or brown, yellow, red face, content that perpetuates a recognized negative stereotype about a protected group as greedy or unintelligent. Content perpetuating negative associations between an animal and a protected group, or comparing a protected group to animals that are perceived as inferior or unclean. I know what this one's about. I was like, what is that? What do you mean? What do you mean greedy? Content comparing a protected group to insects, parasites, pest, filth, or disease. Content suggesting that protected groups members are subhuman, inhuman, or impure. Content insinuating that individuals with a certain protected characteristics are criminals and or terrorists, referring to a protected group as a property or thing, intentionally referring to someone using a pronoun or form of address that doesn't not correctly reflect the gender which they identify with, such as repeating incorrect pronouns after they ask to stop. The last one is super lame, but it's fine. I get it. I think they're just lumping that shit in there. You ever think that to yourself? Like they have all these things that are like, this is against this race. This is against this race. This is against this race. You can like, they're all these stereotypes against races. And the last one is like, oh, by the way, you better call that person Aziz or you're banned. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? How is that lump in there? There are people that are actually suffering in the world and actually feel the negative, like repercussions of stereotypes, negative stereotypes. And they're getting lumped in with the 58-year-old history teacher that suddenly just has a giant set of fake knockers on.